Get my back up straight
Yeah,
here.
let me take some water, actually.
You should make your back gay, not straight. Just be proud of who you are.
Is that actually, what's that thing called when you have a tilted
Scoliosis?
back or spine or whatever?
Scoliosis.
Is scoliosis just like bisexual people?
It's only like partial scoliosis.
Oh my god, the comparison just sent me.
Anyway. Hello, monsters, and welcome back to the House of Delusion, your go-to Lady Gaga podcast. I'm Billy, back from my Delulu detective mission in Paris, and today Cal and Bling are here to help me break down Gaga's Olympic performance, the brand new LG7 snippets from Gaga, and Bling also has some piping hot insider tea regarding LG7. So,
hey everyone, this is Cal. With the whole thing that just happened in Paris and everything, Gaga's international superstar status has been reignited, at least for the French. And I'm ready to dive into her performance in today's episode.
Hey Delulus, it's Bling. I'm still so shook and reeling from Gaga's LG7 snippets and can't believe this lady is keeping us waiting for more. The insider tea I received late last night has me hyped more than ever, and I'm ready to dive in today.
God, I cannot wait for this. So don't forget to join the conversation on our social media channels. You can follow me on Instagram by typing bomber.billy and join our community on Discord by going to discord.xyz/House of Delulu. And additionally, you can follow us on Twitter now by searching @House of Delulu. Now, let's kick things off with the latest Gaga news and rumors before we dive into today's main topic.
All right, everybody. So picking right back up where we left off last episode, on July 25th, Empire Magazine dropped their cover for Joker, and Gaga spilled some tea on the Lee character. She's quoted as saying, "So it's like removing the technicality of the whole thing, removing my perceived art form from it all and completely being inside of who she is." So I'm very eager to hear the differences in the voice stylings of her, as I was very surprised at her vocal stylings for Allie. So did you guys get to see the cover or read any of the details in there?
I mean, I read that quote.
I kind of skimmed it.
You scum it?
I scummed it.
So to be honest, I was kind of hoping for some different images. The cover is basically a composite of Gaga and Joaquin that we already have. But nonetheless, still get to hear more info about the film. I actually, with the trailer as well, even though they're showing us a lot, feel they're still withholding a lot. So it's going to make the viewing experience really rewarding versus with A Star Is Born. I feel like we already knew song titles, lyrics, lots of plot details. So very excited for that.
Well, it also helps that A Star Is Born was like the third remake.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we knew the plot, 50 years before.
It's also exciting how you said that it's unlike anything she's done with her voice before. We've seen with Allie a unique character. And it's exciting too. Maybe this all connects to Joker and Harley Quinn with her voice and LG7 being this kind of new area for her. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, and in the trailer, there's a little bit of her singing, and it does sound unlike any type of Gaga vocal I've heard. And also, if we're going into the theory of LG7 being tied to Joker, some of the snippets we've heard, even unofficial ones, do sound vocally a lot different. So this could be more evidence that they're linked.
And what we will get into later, the new snippet she played in Paris, yes, the difference, and unlike anything I've done before, I can definitely hear that in her voice, which we will expand upon later too.
Now, one thing I do want to touch on is that, so the song that she sang that's not like what she has done before in this trailer that just came out and everything is Get Happy from the film Summer Stock with Judy Garland. And what I thought was interesting is that even though she's apparently not trying, or she's trying to not be good, it still sounded like she was on pitch the entire time, which is pretty good for someone who's a non-singer, who's trying to go for bad notes. So I'm just like, you can still kind of tell that she has some talent there just because she's never like off pitch in there, and she's still like doing the required length of the notes and everything properly. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it kind of makes you think like the backstory for this character, like were they, it's a very musical film allegedly. So was this character very interested in music and wasn't necessarily classically trained, but music is in their background. And so I don't know. We still have a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, in other news, the very next day after the Empire magazine cover was released, everything had been building up to this moment. It's July 26th, the Olympics opening ceremony, and Cal is going to cover that for us.
Right, yes, les Jeux Olympiques. So the Olympic Games in Paris opened at, I think it was 7:30 p.m. Paris time, which is 1:30 p.m. on the eastern coast of the United States. 10:30 a.m. on the western coast of the United States, and both me and Bling are in the United States. That's why I mentioned that specifically. So on the House of Delulu Discord server, there was a live stream that took place, and a whole bunch of members were watching and waiting and kind of just sort of hoping that Gaga would appear sooner rather than later once it started. And the performance that Gaga gave started about 20 minutes in because they had to do all like the introductory crap. And then the opening ceremony started first with the Greek boat coming down the River Seine, because Greece is always first in the processions and opening ceremonies, because the Olympics are from Greece, so they get special privileges to go first.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and a couple of boats went, and then Gaga was the very first kind of break performance from the procession of boats. So her performance was actually recorded an hour to an hour and a half before the actual ceremony started. This was not the original plan, but if you were one of the people who actually watched the 2024 Olympics opening ceremony, you remember that it started raining cats and dogs throughout most of that day, most of that evening in Paris. And Gaga's performance took place kind of on like a little, I guess, like jetty on the Seine, but also a lot of it was a whole bunch of steps going up to street level. And these steps are not, like shallow steps. They're very large steps. And so that combined with rain, combined with darkness, combined with, you're actually like running around and doing crazy stuff in high heels, means that the organizers for the event, and specifically for Gaga's appearance, were very concerned about how it could be pulled off if it did rain. And so they held off and they held off and they held off, because they were really hoping, like all the other events, that it could just be held live during the actual performance. But with rain essentially being like 100% in the forecast an hour out, they're like, you know what, we're just going to do it now and we're going to show it in an hour and we'll get Gaga out of here before it starts really, really raining, because it's so much of a risk. We don't want her falling, ass over tea kettle down the staircase, during her performance.
Rain on me, tsunami.
The song that Gaga performed was a song from 1950 called Mon truc en plume, which is like my feathered thing, my feathery thing, my thing in feathers. And it's originally by a cabaret singer and dancer known as Zizi Jeanmaire, who actually died, I think, in 2020. But that particular song is very, very well known. Zizi even performed it on the Ed Sullivan Show in the United States. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Ed Sullivan Show was like one of the very first like really big TV shows where performers would come and do their thing, like the Oprah Show or the Ellen Show, that kind of thing. It was the Ed Sullivan Show first, and then it was Johnny Carson, and then, kind of just exploded into the 1980s and onward. But she was like one of the first French people to actually get on American primetime TV and perform this song. And it's very cabaret-y. There's lots of black and pink and big feathers, which makes sense because it's literally called My Thing in Feathers. And it was cute, I would say. What did you guys think?
Well, personally, I just want to reiterate, like, first of all, we were watching it not knowing, is she going to come on 3 hours and 30 minutes into it? Like, we had no idea. So we're watching, and this group appears, on the stairs, as you said, and the dancers had all these feathers and they were covering the performer. And so we're like, okay, what's happening? Who is this? And I'm going to be dragged for this, but my comment was because all we could see was this person's legs, right? Face and body was covered. And so my comment was, those are not Gaga's thighs.
Wrong.
Well, because I couldn't see her tattoo. And so obviously within seconds, I figured out I was wrong. And what did I think of the performance? It was romantic. It was Parisian. No one else in mainstream pop culture at Gaga status could have done this and could, transition from the pop world to this kind of more traditional world as seamlessly as she does. I will say, obviously, since we've been waiting so long for new music and LG7 teases have been coming left and right, which we'll get to in a minute. I will say there was a small part of me that was somewhat let down only because, we watched the entire rest of the show for 3 hours and we didn't know if she was going to come back. There were rumors about a Celine duet. So all in all, I'll take it.
And I feel the Olympics didn't do her justice enough. Her performance itself and her vocal performance was amazing. The camera angles, though, I feel that they were pretty bad.
Well, like I said, look, they decided to rush right at the very end because of the rain.
Right. And that one guy fell, too.
So, as someone who arguably speaks more French than either of you...
Oui, baguette.
oui, baguette. I was disappointed by her accent, which I know is a bit prudish to say, even though it's very French of me to say. And look at it this way. She's performing a very classic French song in France at the Olympics in front of an audience of possibly up to 1 billion watching. Why would you not practice your pronunciation a little bit more? There's certain vowels that were just completely off, and it took me out of the moment. And, I mean, I'm already someone who is not a big fan of her performances of La Vie en Rose just because her American accent is so thick. And I was hoping that this opportunity would kind of see her like, hey, I have a couple weeks, after Jazz and Piano ended, where I'm going to be doing this big French cabaret number on the Seine. All the world's eyes are going to be on me. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great. It's going to be terrific. So let me practice my French. And then as soon as she opened her mouth, it was apparent that she did not.
No, what's sad is she actually practiced so hard and she's listening to this right now and she's like, Cal, but I actually did practice so hard.
Well, practice better, sweetheart. Mon truc en plume is not how you pronounce it.
Mon truc en plume.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. Je porte lunettes soleil. Je veux m'en venger. Merci beaucoup. Je hurle. Oui, baguette.
So yes, there was one more thing that happened, and that was Gaga introduced France's prime minister to her companion, Michael Polanski, and she introduced Michael as her fiance.
Oh.
Now, this was not, good for them, but it wasn't like an official announcement on Gaga's part. It was like some twink with the cell phone kind of just recorded her saying that. So that kind of takes the thunder out of everything, especially if she wanted to keep it under wraps anyway. Because, look at what's happened to her relationships when she's come out and said things publicly, right? So, I feel a little bad about that, but that's all I can think of about the Olympics because she didn't come back and perform again during the opening. So
yeah, and that was it. And then the weekend kind of went. She was at the Olympics. She was watching the game. She made a few posts. And then comes Sunday night or Sunday late afternoon North American time, I should say, and almost midnight France time, which is where all the goodness finally happened.
Okay, everybody. So for Lady Gaga fans, yesterday was a doozy. So basically it was 1:30 p.m. my time on the Pacific Coast. And Billy actually called me and he's like, oh my God, did you see what's happening? And I'm like, what's happening? I almost had a panic attack. And he shared with me the post that Gaga had, the Insta story that Gaga had uploaded. And I was scrambling, trying to find a live stream. And actually that part's really juicy. So I'm going to pass it to, that's my cat.
Yeah, so basically I texted you because I was like, what the hell is going on? I was just literally sitting on my phone. I think I was on Discord in the general chat or maybe talking in the podcast chat or something. And I got the notification. I was like, oh, cool. So I opened it up and I quickly skimmed it. It was just a selfie of her, obviously. And I just noticed LG7 at the bottom. I didn't even read the full thing. All I just basically saw was like, hello, LG7, a few seconds tonight. And instantly everything in my body just went into shock mode and excitement. I screenshotted it, went to the general chat, and I was like, I don't even remember what I posted. I think I was like, oh my God, and started spamming my keyboard on my phone and everything. And then I went to the Gaga updates, and then I think I added everyone there. No, I added Gaga updates first with the screenshot. And I was like, wait, no, this isn't enough.
Right.
This is major news. So then I went back to general and I was like, screw it, add everyone. I was like, LG7 tonight.
I mean, this is unprecedented. Like, she has not done something like this since like our pop days. I mean, yesterday was so intense.
It was crazy. And the amount of adrenaline I was feeling and that music. But yeah, Cal, where were you during all this?
I was taking a nap and I missed it.
I mean, you were probably doing the healthiest thing.
Yeah, which is like, I cannot hear LG7 for I am sleeping soundly.
Can't hear the haters.
So basically, Gaga posted, I'm so deeply touched by my French fans this week outside my hotel. I'm going to come out tonight and say goodbye with the black heart emoji, of course, with a few seconds of hashtag LG7. And this was around 10:30 p.m. Paris time. So as Billy stated, it was chaos was ensuing. I found a live stream. I started the stage channel in the Discord. So we had like at one point up to 30 people watching. On the actual live streams, there were like 2 to 3, almost 4,000 people watching. One of our Discord members, Enigma, is in Paris and said, hey, I can do a live stream for you. So we passed it to them. Both their stream and the original one went down. So we're like freaking out. There was another live stream on TikTok, which we found.
And that's the live stream I was watching. So I wasn't inside your room there on Discord, but I was watching this other stream by myself. And it was kind of annoying, actually. I'm not going to get too into it, but there were some fans there who were definitely annoying other fans. And I could see that they weren't making the scene the greatest experience for people. But other than that, looks like everyone else had the best time of their life there. I can't imagine what it would be like to be in that experience physically there, listening to new music from Gaga before the rest of the world even has a chance.
Well, it was so confusing because like we're literally, I mean, it sounds almost stalkerish. Like we're literally watching people come in and out of this hotel. And like every time we see a figure approach the door, like goosebumps all over the body. Like then people would be like pulling up and people started cheering and, they're all speaking French. And so we have no idea what's happening. And it was like, I had never, I always state like as a longtime fan, it might sound like whatever, but I have not felt this way in so long. It was wild.
So many emotions last night. So many emotions. I just don't know where to go from here. And what's next, really? There's so much going on. This whole past few days have been intense. So with all this information, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's with LG7?
So basically, we were on the live stream for like an hour and a half. Just imagine like sitting at your computer, just watching someone's hotel, not knowing what's going to happen. So she said tonight. So we were like, okay, well, it's got to be around midnight. Midnight comes, there's still nothing. And we're like, what the fuck? So just retelling this, I'm like getting goosebumps. But I think it was like 8 minutes after. Oh my God, was it 7 minutes after midnight? I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And she finally comes out. There was this white van that had been parked in front of the hotel for a bit that had tinted windows. So she comes out. And if you remember the LG5 time Instagram post where she's wearing her sunglasses at night, it was very that. And she climbs on top of the van, pulls out an iPad, and everyone's screaming. We're all like on our keyboards, like just completely freaking out. And she shushes everybody. So everybody shushes for a second. And then she starts to play our first official sounds of LG7. And again, more goosebumps. I mean, I'm going to give my reaction. To me, it sounded like a 2024 version of Party Nauseous mixed with Swine. This is the one that we think it has the lyric abracadabra. You know, the live stream had not great audio quality. So when you go back and watch videos from other angles, you can really hear it. And this sound is just unbelievable. What did you guys think?
I thought that the sound is incredible. It's art pop meets Born This Way meets Disney Princess Rave all over again. And it's incredible.
Cal, what did you think of the first song?
Well, when I first heard it after I woke up and everything was already over and the cleanup crew was already in the street, I thought it sounded pretty cool. It definitely sounded different than what she's been doing recently. Definitely different than Mon Truc en Plume. And I definitely heard the abracadabra stuff when I listened to it. But again, like I said, I came in so late that people had already started to upscale the audio and repost it by the time I actually caught on to things.
The gays move fast, but monsters move faster.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It was so intense because, we had all been looking forward to this moment and then it just went by like that.
Yeah, it's like I can't even take a nap. Jesus Christ.
And she started playing and then people started screaming and she's like, sorry, editing Billy. She's like fist pumping and I'm like, holy shit. And then it ends and we're like, I barely even heard anything. I was so pissed. I was like, what the heck's going on? So then she ducks back down and we're like, no way is this woman going to do that and then leave, right? So we're all like, what's happening? So seconds later, she reemerges. And I first want to say it's amazing how we're so hungry that less than 10 seconds of new music is completely driving us into like worldwide fandom chaos. But she reappears and finally everyone shushes and she plays this. I'm assuming it's a different track. And it's if the first one was more Party Nauseous Swine, the second one was definitely more Nine Inch Nails metal meets like techno pop.
It's like an industrial type beat in it too with the drums.
And that one had more lyrics, which there's been a lot of debate. But the first thing I thought when I heard this one, which a lot of people are calling it enlightened being or something like that. When we had the podcast episode where we went over Andrew Watt's production style, that was the first thing I thought of because listening to his stuff, he takes very intricate and what could be messy production and makes it very smooth, very perfectly layered. And I don't know, the second snippet for me was very almost like Plastic Hearts Miley meets Nine Inch Nails industrial. What did you guys think?
I could see that.
I definitely thought it went hard.
Went really hard. Those drums.
Yes.
Although you forgot the one song she played in between them.
But I don't know, for me, sonically, this is just so pleasing to me, obviously. But on top of that, this is other than Dance in the Shadow, we don't have any official snippets other than, the Girlfriend one, which is super low quality. But this is confirmation of genre, with the kind of, I don't want to say like Joanne disappointment, but we definitely thought she was going in a different direction. I have been more hyped after yesterday for this album than ever before.
I agree. And we forgot to mention one major thing, you guys, about this new music. We think that we hear The Weeknd in Abracadabra too at the very end.
That's right. Yeah.
His voice sounds like it's right there. And then she even look at the crowd and it's kind of like, oops.
Bleep.
Did you guys notice that at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it seems like she was like, yeah, here's a little hint that The Weeknd is on my album.
Speaking of The Weeknd, he's performing in Brazil in like the second week of September. I think it's the 7th or something. Does this mean she's heading to Brazil to premiere a new song with him? Who knows?
At least the Brazilians are finally going to get Gaga, if that does end up being true.
So I just feel this is all a marketing strategy. Engagement rumors, those have always spread like wildfire in the past. On top of the new music played on Sunday, BBC already posted an article, and that news is swirling around. Lady Gaga's already number 2 trending on Twitter, I believe, over the weekend due to her Olympics appearance. So there's just so much going on in Gaga's world in terms of her being viewed by the public and her name being out there right now. My Delulu brain is like, this seems a little bit too purposely placed to draw the hype in, but we will see. So that's why I believe we could be getting an announcement this week, but House of Delusion, am I right?
As long as she can juggle it with the Venice Film Festival coming up at the end of next month, and then all of the Joker Folia, the promotion that she'll have to do.
Yeah, and especially if the two are connected thematically, they can definitely synergize that. If, say, Venice is the kickoff for Joker 2, then she can go ahead and start LG7 promotion there too if it's connected. And if not, then I guess we'll see it another time.
Well, I know I said this before, but now is the most perfect time. I mean, she has the world's attention right now after this weekend, between the Olympic opening performance and the kind of, I don't know the adjective, but the just very random, chaotic announcement that she's playing new music yesterday.
Yeah, it seems almost like she'll come back and be like, hey, surprise, my new single's out this Friday.
Yeah, so it's just like, again, from a marketing standpoint, I mean, you have the entire world's eyes on you right now. Now, I mean, yesterday was the time to announce, but you know, now is the time. And just going back to the snippets, we've discussed what we thought of them. I think we both I think we all definitely think it's two different songs. We talked about the potential titles. Someone brought up one of the tracks, I can't remember, echoes a Gesaffelstein sample or sounds very similar to one of the House Labs ads she had like 2 years ago.
Yes.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah, it does sound very similar. That the driving, the beat, and then the bass of it.
Yeah, so the Gesaffelstein song is called Pursuit, and it was used for one of the House Labs advertisements a little bit before it went really big. And of course, a lot of us, you know, who were around back then were like, oh gosh, I really hope LG6 sounds like this. And then we got Chromatica, which is still cool, but did not exactly sound like that. And now we have rumors that she's working with Gesaffelstein directly. And Gesaffelstein is French, and she's in France, speaking French, doing Frenchy things.
We be good.
And now we get a teaser for a song that's Gesaffelsteiny.
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 That track, from when I heard that from the House Labs ad, and you know, rumors started coming in about him, his feature being sampled for Frankenstein, the song. Actually, I guess that was 2 years ago. But the album, I think it's Aleph, which Pursuit is on, kind of started my like deep dive into his sound. And so I don't know, I'm very pleased from yesterday. But it's kind of like creepy sounding, it's aggressive, it's you know, dark was like Billy and Mai's like only adjective we could use for that one podcast episode. But I don't know, like, what do you guys think? For me, it's sonically like a completely different direction, but it just, I don't know. It's everything I've wanted from her for so long.
100%.
Same here.
And I personally believe in throwing this out there. My prediction, September 27th. That's my prediction for LG7 release date.
The last little bullet point here. Do you guys think the songs sound finished? I personally, with the different layering techniques, think they sound done.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I didn't listen to them heavily because of the quality. I've just been kind of playing with the effects and trying to amplify certain sounds of them. But with that being said, and what I've heard, absolutely, it does sound done. It does sound... Jesus Christ, my dogs. Sorry.
Who let the dogs out?
Okay, everyone. The moment you've all been waiting for this episode. So late last night, I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I have to be very careful about what I say to protect this person's identity and the identity of their source. But I received information late last night regarding LG7, confirming information that we had previously suspected. So do you guys remember the second to last week of May when Du Moi, or however you pronounce it, spilled Lady Gaga album in August?
Mm-hmm.
Do you also remember the following week, Selva, Lady Gaga's designer for LG7, accidentally spilled in an article LG7 in August?
Yeah, Christian Rauchens, yeah.
Please don't tell me.
And then within like 20 minutes, that statement was removed from the article.
Yes.
So again, I'm being very careful about what I say. I can comment that someone messaged me and I was shown receipts of this person's connection to Selva and confirmed Selva's previous statement about album era in August/September, meaning things will start to heat up in between August and September was the quote. So this is our third claim for album era in August and September. And I also want to include that, guys, plans change. So if this doesn't happen, I don't want you to come after me. I don't want you to come after Gaga. But I can't really be specific on the type of receipts I received, but it's something that only someone very close to Gaga's team would have. And it was media that could not be found online. And so I trust this source and I trust the person that gave this person this information. So take that as you will. But me personally, like it's totally hyping me up for, we made it. We made it through February and this whole spring when we didn't know what was happening. August is just around the corner. So I think we should put on our clown makeup and get really delulu.
And just to confirm, you said basically the only thing they told you was that August/September is LG7 months, right?
They corroborated Selva and Dumois T.
And they both said August, right?
Correct. So based on a statement from someone close to Gaga's team, yes.
Could this be a surprise release then?
My thing is, well, first, I just want your reactions.
My reaction is a lot of questions.
My reaction is I will believe it when I am streaming it into my ear holes.
Yes.
And not a second before.
No announcement for a lead single and album in August is just like,
Yeah.
How does my brain fix that,
The quote was between August and September. So I'm thinking, number one, the first 2 weeks of August, no one major is releasing. Number two, the last week of August is kind of out because she's going to be heading to Venice. And so I'm thinking sooner rather than later. And we also mentioned that The Weeknd is performing in Brazil in the first week or two of September. And with him being rumored to be featured on the album, I'm just thinking, could she fly to Brazil and perform the song with him? I don't know.
Yeah, no, Bling, thank you so much for sharing that. That is exciting and that's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have more corroboration on this kind of late summer, early autumn release, just because the lack of news has been so disheartening,
Yeah, merci beaucoup.
Thank you. And to your source, thank you.
Yeah, source, thank you so much. And also, too, if it comes true, I can come back here and be like, I told you so. But if it doesn't come true, it wouldn't be the first time something for Gaga has been confirmed and it doesn't happen.
Yep.
But all signs should show a release should be coming within the next 2 months.
Yes. But I feel like you guys this whole era has been so weird the whole pre-era has been weird between her uploading what seems to be old pictures and claiming that they're new. And I don't know. I feel like since the surprise of the Dance in the Shadow snippet was at the end of Chromatica Ball film, I feel like they have a different release strategy this time around.
I just really hope we get a lead single.
Chromatica will never be over.
So our listener question for this episode comes from our House of Delulu Discord member, Pancecco, or Pancecco. If you're Italian, then it would be Checco and not Cecco. Given what we know so far, which is very limited, could we guess the recurring themes in the album being darkness, magic, night, etc., etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's so many signs towards yes, especially with the abracadabra lyric we heard yesterday. Earlier this year, she did the whole magic potions take time. The Dance in the Shadow snippet, obviously shadow is darkness, but some people think she's saying Dance in the Shadow of the Night. Some people think she's saying Dance in the Shadow of the Moon. So based on this question, I just feel like everything we heard yesterday totally feeds into the themes of the emojis and all of our theories from episode 3, I believe that was.
Reason for an album to come out before October.
Yeah, I mean, Babylon Hooker, who's a pretty reliable Gaga Daily member. I believe who was Intel and was correct a lot of the Chromatica era before things were released. Months ago claimed May, June lead single and October album. So I am wondering if it's going to be lead single in August and then October album, because just again, based on what we've heard, so much of it points to, like Billy said, spooky season. So I feel like all of this aligns with what we already know. Cal, anything else?
That basically covers things on my end. We already had an episode or two basically talking about what we think was going on. And I think other than the industrial confirmation, we'll just have to wait and see what else comes up.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because at the Chromatica Ball film interview, she was describing her outfit. And one of the words she used was industrial. And even though she was talking about her outfit, I had like a physical reaction to hearing her say the word industrial because it's the sound I've wanted from so long. And
the number one sound.
Yeah. And I feel like now that we've heard something officially from her, I think she was being cheeky in that moment for sure.
We can go back to our interviews and stuff later on when LG7 is out, and we're going to find so many things to be like, yep, nope, that was a hint. We just completely missed that.
And as we wrap up, I just want to mention that, of course, as the people involved in the podcast, we keep track of how many listeners we have and where we're popular. And we apparently have gotten somewhat notable in, Sweden and Greece? Bling, what were the...
Correct.
Do you have the precise...
We are positioned number 1 on their music commentary podcast charts. And then in addition to that, we are positioned number 4 in just the music category in general in Greece. And then for Sweden, we are number 12.
Oh, well, number 1's greater than number 12. Sorry, Sweden. Θα ήθελα να ευχαριστήσω όλους την Ελλάδα. Άκουσαν και μας βοήθησαν. Σ' αγαπάμε.
Girl, I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but I'm living.
Alrighty, monsters. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. If you have any questions yourself you want to ask us, come into our server. Just go to discord.xyz/House of Delulu, and then you can come to our channels and ask questions or just chat with us. On top of that, you can check out our TikTok, Twitter, and our Instagram in the links below. Other than that,
light your Alejandro candles for LG7 soon.
Well, good night.
Bye, Delulus.
Happy time zone. Oh my god, this is even better than when I got those drugs from my ex.